My name is Roshini Thinakaran. I'm a National Geographic Emerging Explorer and a TED Fellow. And I'm the founder of Women at the Forefront, which is a project that examines women in crisis zones, the life that they lead, their economic, political, and social challenges. I'm based in Washington, D.C., and so is Women at the Forefront. The organization focuses on media. So this August, there's a book coming out in partnership with National Geographic. I produced 2 documentaries. The first was a short on Liberia, and the second was a long-form documentary on Iraq and the U.S.-led initiative to integrate Iraqi women into the Iraqi security forces. And because I'm a National Geographic Emerging Explorer, I tend to partner with them on some of my media projects. And I believe in about a couple of months, Women at the Forefront and Dickinson University, based in Pennsylvania, we're going to be launching a scholarship fund for women in war zones. So it's very much about telling the stories of these women, but also providing them with resources. In 2003, I worked as a media consultant for the U.S. government in Iraq. So I was there post-invasion, and I worked throughout the Middle East till about 2006. And, I kept meeting women who had these amazing stories, but these stories weren't in mainstream media. I mean, they're very much marginalized communities. I don't know, I felt a connection, maybe because I was born in Sri Lanka and I left when I was 7, but I just always felt a connection to people who come from conflict-ridden countries. And my background is in communication journalism. My background is in communication journalism, but I never really wanted to be a journalist. I was more of an activist, but I also liked telling an objective story. So I wanted to combine the two.
Okay. And can you tell me a bit about sort of some of the successes that your organisation has had and the kind of things that you're hoping to do in the future?
Well, I think one of the biggest accomplishments of Women at the Forefront has been putting together this national conference, which was sponsored by the British Embassy in Washington, D.C., National Geographic, and some very prominent women. And some very prominent women. And it was to bring together African women from all backgrounds and then policymakers in Washington, D.C. and from all over the U.S. And we put together this white paper that presented new ways of funding and supporting women's initiatives in Africa. And that conference started because a person in the British Embassy in Washington, D.C. saw the Liberia short film. So, I like these kinds of accomplishments. The Iraq documentary focused on Iraqi women in the Iraqi security forces. And after it was produced, it premiered at the National Geographic All Roads Film Festival. And I heard from a U.S. general who said that he saw the documentary, and because of what he had learned about this initiative, they were trying to find new ways of integrating women, but having it being culturally sensitive. And I think those are like these accomplishments that I'm very proud of.
Okay. And moving on into the future, what are your plans for the foundation moving on?
Well, it's Women at the Forefront is not a foundation.
Sorry.
I'm hoping to launch this scholarship program for women in war zones in the next few months, and the first candidate will be from Sri Lanka, and we have local partners who will vet candidates, and hopefully she'll be starting next fall. And then I'm also getting ready to pitch a piece on the Gulf, the BP disaster in the Gulf, to hopefully National Geographic. So, you know, some more broadcasts, but maybe doing more in front of the camera. Definitely writing, producing, but, you know, still focusing on telling the story from a woman's point of view.